Welcome back to another week of 52 Weeks of Gaming. This week I decided to go and play a game that I have not heard about in literally years. And I didn't even realize it was a thing on modern systems. And no, I'm not referring to Skyrim or Resident Evil 4, but actually Blob. Now, Blob is a game that originally came out in 2008 on the Wii. So just to date it there, that is when it initially came out. It was created by Blue Tongue Entertainment for the Wii, and then published on the DS, by THQ, and pretty much THQ is the publisher for all of these things, just as a heads up. Then they unveiled in 2017 that it was going to be on Microsoft Windows, and then later on they announced that it was going to be released on PS4 and Xbox One at the end of 2017, with a Nintendo Switch port of the game coming out in 2018. So again, super old game that got reported into newer systems. That's when I went and played it. Now, it is something that clearly shows Wii mechanics in terms of how you go and play the game, because the idea is that you play as this blob called a blob, and he's water, and the world was taken over by I.N.K.T, I should say, the I.N.K.T Corporation, and you gotta bring color back because I.N.K.T is just black and white. And so the whole idea of the game is to jump to buildings, to go and give color, defeat enemies, and basically just brighten up everything and have some cool music and make it super fun. The part of the Wii that makes it good is because you would have the motion controls, so you'd be able to jump back and forth pretty easily and get it all figured out. The problem on an Xbox controller is that it's not as quick or as adaptive to buttons and responsive, I should say, to buttons. So it's a bit tougher to go and figure it out. And let's not talk about the very end of the game, where you're on the spaceship and there's these goals to go and paint everything 100%. That's one of the things in the game. But at the very end, what could possibly happen, even if you have painted everything that you can up until that point, what will possibly happen is that the final boss will shoot a ball of ink, because if a ball of ink goes in, or if any ink hits a painted spot, it deletes the paint off of it. But basically what happens is the ink will somehow go outside of the arena, hit one of the spots that was painted. You can no longer go and repaint that spot. You are kind of stuck in this area, and then you get 99% at the end and don't get the 100% part. I tried that about 5 times, and it takes about an hour per attempt to kind of get to that point. So yeah, it's something that took a while to go and do. Now, that doesn't take away from how much I think this game is enjoyable and fun, and definitely something at the time it came out in 2008 as a super cool concept for the Wii to go and use the controls really well. I think it is something that kids would really go and enjoy, and they would have a ton of fun with, and I think it's something that they would really enjoy going and playing. Now, it doesn't mean that it's any, I want to say, less in the sense of with being on Xbox or PlayStation 4 or PC, or even honestly the Switch, but it's just not how it initially was designed, and so it kind of loses some of its pizzazz because of that. Doesn't mean it's a bad game at all. I know they made Blob 2 afterwards due to the success of this one, so it's not, again, as it's a bad game by any stretch. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it. It's just that last level that it's kind of getting on my nerves. But overall, I think it's something that anyone who enjoys the kind of, I want to say, puzzle-esque sort of painting and lightheartedness that the game brings definitely would go and enjoy it and should go and try it out. That's all I think about it, and that's all I'm gonna kind of stick with until I go back and really put the amount of hours into this level that I think are gonna go and happen, because It's one level. That's it. That's all that's left. Overall great. We'll see if that changes eventually, but for now, fantastic game.